Welcome to Waterloo West High School's 145th annual commencement ceremony. This is certainly a historic time and will definitely be a graduation ceremony like no other. I would like to start by thanking all of the first responders, nurses, and doctors who are working so hard on the front lines to keep the Cedar Valley safe. Thank you. I would also like to acknowledge anybody who is a veteran tuning in to this program. We thank you for your service to our country, and many of our graduates from the class of 2020 will also be acknowledging their military commitments in the coming weeks. We thank you all for your future service to our country. This year, we will be mailing our program for the 2020 commencement ceremony to each of our senior households. In that program, many students' names will be marked with a flying W, showing that they've worked hard to maintain a high grade point average. Those students that have maintained a 3.0 to a 3.49 will have one flying W next to their name in the program. Those students who have maintained a 3.5 to a 3.99 will have two flying W's next to their name in the program. And finally, those students who maintained a 4.0 throughout their high school career will receive three flying W's next to their name in the programs that are mailed home. The next group that we will recognize has been engaged in advanced coursework throughout their high school career. Those students will have an H by their name in the program and will be receiving an honors diploma for taking on extra credits, extra work, and dedicating themselves to academic success. And our final group that will be recognized in the program has achieved at high levels in our International Baccalaureate program. That will be noted with an IB in the programs that are mailed home. It is now my privilege to introduce our student body president, Thatcher Hollis, so that he can deliver our first senior address.
Okay, West High, when I say Wahawks, you say rise. That was the mantra we established a year ago for our senior year. And rise we did. West High teachers, parents, students, and most importantly, class of 2020. It is my distinct honor and privilege to be able to stand before you today and address you under such unique circumstances. West High class of 2020, we are different. We are different from the culture that built us. We are different from ourselves 4 years ago. In fact, we are even different from ourselves 3 short months ago. We are difference makers. How are we different from the culture that built us? We have grown up in a world that often seeks to divide us. Male versus female, black versus white, gay versus straight. I mean, you even wear a mask or you don't wear a mask. But our best moments were when we were united as one, encouraging each other and appreciating our differences rather than thinking about our divisions. We were all Wahawks. In demonstrating unity, we pushed back against the culture's tendency to divide us. Going forward, as we go into college or our jobs or the military, I know we will do some truly amazing things and heal divisions within our world. We are different from ourselves 4 years ago. We had great homecomings and winning football seasons with awesome cheerleading and halftime shows. And then each year we migrated to the gym where we watched amazing volleyball, wrestling, and basketball teams compete at a level that our school hasn't seen for many years. We had state champions in bowling, the theater and music programs thrived, and we saw success in so many other activities. It's inspiring to consider all the achievements and success we have experienced collectively in our time as Waterloo students. I want to thank our teachers, family, and friends for encouraging and shaping us throughout our time as Wahawks. I believe Waterloo is the heart of America, and I will always be thankful for her. Not only are we different from ourselves 4 years ago, we have changed even in these last 3 months. As if what came before in our entire 18 years of education was just somehow incomplete. A pandemic like the world hasn't seen in over 100 years came along to teach us some final lessons before we go out on our own. Little did we know, the day before spring break would be our last day to walk the hallowed halls of West High as students. Our class was faced with a decision. We could have reacted with anger and fear, but rather we chose positivity and rose to overcome this challenge. We went to work, we continued with our classes, jobs, sports, and lives. West High, while I have missed you these past few months, and I really have missed you, I am proud of how we have learned that life isn't all about us. My hope is that in the future, our class is not simply remembered as the coronavirus class, but as difference makers. Our time at West High means so much more than the pandemic that cut it short. We had friends, family, and a community that needed our help, and you rose to the occasion. We have students who have been working in hospitals, nursing homes, grocery stores, and have been a beacon of hope to our community throughout this pandemic. You all could have just sat around and watched the world go on, but you chose not to. You went to the front lines and fought for all of Waterloo. You had a fire burning inside of you that told you to take action and meet needs for the betterment of your community. You made a difference in a big way, and my hope for you is that that fire burns bright throughout the rest of your life, that you will always be around to help your community when they need you the most, and that we will be remembered as the class who rose to the occasion and brought life to our community. Class of 2020, value your connections with your friends and community, pursue your passion to help others, and most importantly, Wahawks, rise. Rise to the occasion of your commencement. Rise to accomplish your goals. Rise to bring people together, and rise for the betterment of your community in our world. Wahawks, rise.
Thank you, Thatcher. I would now like to introduce this year's valedictorian, Blaine Williams. Blaine has earned the honor of valedictorian by maintaining the highest grade point average in his class. Congratulations on your accomplishments, Blaine.
Hello, class of 2020. My name is Blaine Williams, and I am your class's valedictorian. I know that this is an unconventional way of giving a speech, but unfortunately, the year was cut short due to the COVID pandemic, so an online speech will have to suffice. Let me just first start off by saying that I am honored to be West High's valedictorian of 2020. West High will always be near the foundation at which I build my life. The life lessons that I've learned at West are priceless, and I'm here to share some of them with you. Some of you will have learned different things, while others of you may have learned the same thing that I have. The biggest source where your values came from likely came from your parents. West High has served as a place where I could test these values and make changes where I see fit. So within the speech, I will tell you several values that I learned through my parents, and then how I made changes to what I learned. In effect, how I balance what I learned from my parents and what I learned from West. The most important value my parents taught me is discipline. Discipline comes in many forms. Discipline is what keeps you doing your homework when you would rather be hanging out with your friends. Discipline also is what keeps you exercising outside of the sports season so you're ready the following one. Discipline for me was to do my best in academics. But everything comes at a cost. I oftentimes felt like I was sacrificing valuable time with friends in order to stay at home and study. I realized that I was spending too much time on homework and needed to go out with friends and learn to relax and enjoy life. Everyone needs balance in their life. Balance between working and playing. Balance between making a mess and cleaning it up. So what you can take away from this is that balance between discipline and doing what you want is necessary. The next thing my parents taught me is to always push myself, even so far as to never be satisfied with the results. I relate this idea to what Steve Jobs once said, "Stay hungry, stay foolish." This quote resonates within me now that I think what it means. Stay hungry. I believe that Steve Jobs was referring to never giving up, to always be hungry for new opportunities, to always be hungry to better yourself. And stay foolish I interpret as two things: to never worry about the results if you try your best, and to go after big ideas and big plans, which people would both deem as foolish or risky. I heard that quote when I was in 6th grade, and it was only a few months ago that I truly understood what Jobs meant by foolish. The second part of Jobs' quote, "Stay foolish," is a change that I made to what my parents taught me. I learned that we need to try our best every day and to always improve ourselves, and to always look for new opportunities. But what I learned is that we needn't worry about the results, because when we try new things and we expand our horizons, we'll be in new territory and we won't always be our best. Becoming our best takes time, and if we are down about our results, we may carry those feelings on later and it will prevent us from being our best. The third biggest thing my parents taught me is to get along with other people. When my parents told me to get along with other people, I always interpreted it as just accepting people's ideas and being passive. My parents did tell me to be principled, but I never truly understood what it meant until I went to West. West High is a pool of young people with different perspectives. Not only will West open the eyes of its students, but it can also teach them how to defend their perspectives. So what I learned between my parents and through West is to be open-minded, principled, and to stand for what you believe to be correct. As I finished writing the speech, I noticed the idea of balance has been taught throughout history, within the Bible, but also most notably the philosophy of the ancient Chinese. Many of you have heard of the yin and the yang, which is a circle that has a black and a white portion. The black represents the unknown, while the white represents the known. The Chinese believe that the way people should live their life is on the border of the black and the white, which is where progress is made. Let's say the white, for example, is being principled, and the black represents being passive. The best way to live life is on the border of the two, to balance them. To be open-minded and principled at the same time. To do your best, but also not be discouraged by the results. The idea of the yin and the yang can be used in every aspect of your life in order to achieve success. I would like to take the last few seconds to thank some people who have touched my life. Thanks to my teachers throughout my 4 years at West, the teachers at Central Intermediate, and the teachers who taught at Black Hawk Elementary. Thanks to my friends. Thanks to the doctors at the University of Iowa's Children's Hospital. And lastly, thanks to my mother, father, and family members who helped push me to be my best through struggles and triumphs. And lastly, a quote by Aristotle. Educating the mind without educating the heart is no education at all. Thank you all for listening.
Tonight, for just an hour or so, we're going to ask you to suspend your fears and anxieties about our current situation and focus on an amazing group of young people, Waterloo West High's very own class of 2020. This is a group that came to West High in August of 2016 with preconceived notions of high school and a good level of anxiety as freshmen. They didn't know it at the time, but as Link Crew greeted them in our hot gym, they were starting an incredible journey that would end in the most unique fashion. Today, we're celebrating their ability to live and to learn together in a school community, their ability to show resilience in the face of many obstacles, and their insistence that they come together by any means, virtual or otherwise. We are working to recognize the accomplishments of over 350 students that have given their time, their energy, and their talents to Waterloo West High School. As your principal, and as a West High graduate myself, I take a heightened level of pride in all that you have achieved. Many of you have spent countless hours preparing for exams, memorizing parts for the school play, working on your solos for band, orchestra, or choir, taking one more lap after practice in the gym, and working an extra shift to help pay for a ticket to a dance. You did all of this with pride for yourself and pride for your school community. I know it was not easy to accomplish all that you have done. It is pretty easy to lose focus or to have a skewed perspective. I think that too often high school graduation is seen as regular, routine, or simply what is expected. If nothing else, our current situation has caused us all to pause and reflect and know we cannot expect anything. In this reflection, I can see that your high school graduation is anything but routine, anything but regular. Your high school graduation is extraordinary. Your commencement is more than a time or a place. It is not the ceremony, it's not the music, it's not the lights, it's not your crazy aunt screaming, "Go Pookie!" when you walk across the lighted up stage. It's more than this. It's your chance to show those that have nurtured your education that you appreciate their sacrifices too. This is a time to show that those that worked to make sure you had an opportunity to succeed, that you appreciate them. We are all excited to see you make your next turn in life and continue your journey. Like many of you, I've spent some time in the past 8 weeks wondering how we arrived in our current situation. In doing this, it's forced me to replay the last week or so of my former normal life and it brought me to a story about a senior in this graduating class. Picture this. It was the night of March 13th, Friday the 13th. West High had held its annual academic awards ceremony earlier that day. It was the last day of classes before spring break, and everyone was in a super positive mood. That night, my son and I went to the OP for dinner and ran into a senior and her family. After some small talk, she had a request. Jokingly, she requested that I cancel school for the rest of the year. At that time, this seemed like a really far-fetched idea. This is a student I know pretty well, so we joked about it and I wished them a good night as we were on our way. I would bet you anything that if we knew then what we know now, we would have been begging for the chance to continue on with our school. My heart breaks for the loss your class has sustained. Missing out on last days of school, a last practice, a last concert, the last chance to meet in the parking lot after a ball game or a track meet. My encouragement would be to look not at what you all have lost or missed out on, but rather to focus on the way this experience has made your class unique and strong. You all have become leaders, communicators, caregivers, and contributors. Many of you were pressed into service delivering groceries, meals, and medicine for area businesses. Some of you serve as CNAs and work on food services in assisted living communities. I applaud you and your classmates for how you have reacted to this situation in a most positive manner. You have taken a terrible situation and allowed it to make you compassionate, caring, engaged, and resilient. It has been a privilege to work with you and your families, and I feel honored to have been able to get to know so many of you. I am often asked by community members, potential teachers, and others what it is that I love about West High or my job, and I have to tell you, it is the easiest question anyone asks me. It's the amazing students like the class of 2020. You are selfless, caring, and compassionate. You contradict stereotypes, and you challenge people's perceptions of Waterloo and West High. You continue to stand up for what is right and just, and you refuse to be dismissed. I love your underdog spirit, and I appreciate your grit. Go Wahawks! At the conclusion of tonight's program, the seniors being recognized and all of our past alumni, including myself, will share something in common. We will all be West High alumni, Wahawks. That does not stop tonight, but goes on forever. Many of you have family and friends who have supported you throughout your academic careers. Remember, their pride in you carries beyond tonight. Do not dismiss this. Keep this in mind as you navigate the world as adults and work to pay that forward. In closing, I would like to remind you all to be West one last time. Be wise in all that you do. Engage in new opportunities. Be safe as you start to navigate the adult world. And be trustworthy in all of your endeavors. Keep this in mind as you continue your journey, and you will surely be successful. Our community needs everything that you have and everything that you will become now more than ever. Make us proud. Congratulations, class of 2020. Now, it is my privilege, responsibility, and honor to declare to the Waterloo Board of Directors and the Superintendent that the students presented today have met all of the requirements for graduation as mandated by the state of Iowa, the Waterloo Community School District, and our superintendent. I now introduce Dr. Jane Lindeman, Superintendent of Waterloo Community Schools.
Hello, seniors, staff, family, and friends of the class of 2020. I'm Dr. Jane Lindeman, Superintendent of Waterloo Schools, and I'm honored to have this opportunity to address you virtually as you reach the major milestone of your high school graduation. Never could I have imagined this fall, when you embarked upon your last year with our district and the home stretch of your K-12 journey, that it would end this way. No one wanted it to end this way, and certainly we have to acknowledge the loss and sadness many, if not all, are experiencing along with your parents and loved ones. When you walked out of high school for spring break, you did not realize that you were walking away from all of the things you had come to expect were a given, like being able to spend time every weekday with your teachers and your classmates in person, having the chance to participate in after-school clubs, activities, athletics, fine arts, and music, all with your friends and teammates by your side. Though all of these were once guaranteed opportunities, they were taken away abruptly, and you and your peers finished strong to create new memories in creative and innovative ways. I am so proud of how this class of 2020 has taken on the challenge of dealing with the unexpected times 10. The ways in which you have been balancing assignments, for many of you college courses, along with work and family responsibilities. No one said that your senior year would be easy, but what you've had to take on is beyond what any of us expected. Maya Angelou, the American author and civil rights activist, once said, "I can be changed by what happens to me, but I refuse to be reduced by it." This is the challenge I would like you to consider as you end your high school career. Don't let this situation, this unexpected and ultimately temporary shutdown, reduce you. Don't let it crush your spirit and cause you to abandon hope for your future. In mid-March, a pause button of sorts was pressed on your lives. But today, I am asking you to proudly press play when the time is right for you to resume all of the goal setting and dreams chasing laid out before you. Perhaps the word resilience best describes the class of 2020, as you and your fellow graduates have experienced it beyond compare. No other class has endured such an unusual circumstance of isolation and canceled plans all at once. But I would argue that this time in your lives, at such a pivotal moment in your lives, actually sets you apart. You and your peers will be remembered as the class who did not let a global pandemic cancel your future. In fact, I believe going through this in such an abrupt and unforeseen way will actually position you to work harder and smarter in the years to come. You will face obstacles in your personal and professional lives differently now that you have survived and thrived within this one. Seniors, you are what we call digital natives, children born into the world where advanced technology and dependence on devices has become the norm. You were just 2 years old when Facebook launched and just 3 years old when YouTube came out. Let's face it, in a world now dependent on virtual engagement and technical know-how, that gives you the upper hand. Many of us are relying on you to be the future innovators and collaborators to shift our economy and our existence into an enhanced digital experience. And let's be honest, we need you to help us run our smartphones. My final thought for you is to use this advantage. Pursue the careers and training options set before you that didn't even exist just 5 years ago. Whether we embrace it or not, we are all part of a new age of industry and commerce born out of necessity to diversify and ultimately survive. And I have no doubt you are poised to be the future leaders that can accept the challenge to help yourselves and those around you. Congratulations, class of 2020. I'm so proud of you.
Where the rolling plains of Iowa meet a cedar stream, stands our dear old alma mater high in our esteem. Duty, honor, service always, may they never die. Hail to thee, our alma mater, hail, hail West High. May her splendor shine forever in each loyal heart, and our thoughts remain service always, may they never die. Hail to thee, our alma mater. Hail, hail, West High.
Brenda Abraka, Mercedes Abrahamson, Ethan Aarons, Miriam Albani, Omar Al-Duas, Zaisha Alford, Alexis Albright, Antonio Alexander Jr., Tina Alabegich, Armando Alvarez, Jameson Anders, Nicholas Anderson, Sabrina Anderson, Melody Aneo, Reed Anaware, Claire Annis, Davine Ansambanda, Alejandro Ayard, Amina Bacevic, Amel Raimanovich, Avrion Banks, Anthony Barrios, Destiny Barrett, Lindsay Bass, Rachel Bass, Nathan Baller, Jeremy Beaufort, Malia Bador, Nayada Bekanich, Brady Binkston, Trey Berger, Braylee Bogart, Catherine Bonney, Hans Boursequois, Audrey Boylan, Amir Brokich, Kaylee Brandhorst, Alexis Bravo, Lillian Bracco, Christopher Brown, Kashera Brown, Qualia Brown, Noah Bronco, Carter Brutskern, Andrew Breimer, Jarrett Buck, Caitlin Buck, Brady Buckley, Carson Bulver, Colton Birch, Tanea Lee Burgos Martinez, Isabel Burke, Javarius Burris, Sydney Burt, Frederick Bushby, Brandy Boya, Elliot Cahill, Renee Carrillo, Samuel Coffrin, Jenna Chittister, Andrew Christensen, Jaden Clark, Liliana Clark, Nicole Clark, Lauren Connery, Adnan Koragic, Tristan Corcoran, Jasmine Cosby Brott, Maya Covell, Sadina Kovic, LaShawn Cox, Tashonda Crawford, Khalil Crawley, Kayana Cross, Anel Shaforovich, Keegan Cutsforth, Caden Cutright, Jacob DeCastro, Christopher DeCoster, Stacy De La Cruz, Marteus Denton Jr., Negan Diesler, Joseph DePaulo Segovia, Jada Dix, Alan Desterovich, Ashley Desterovich, Dennis Dogich, Woodgery Dorsonville, Lena Dotson, Rylan Dunn, Sarah Javerovic, Nathan Elliott, Noah Epela, Regan Erlinson, Zachary Ernst, Joseph Evans, Kelsey Fetch, Sayinda Farhatovic, Dixon Figueroa Avila, Emily Finney, Zev Fisher, Sharmez Fisher, Wesley Flores, Brianna Floor, Alexis Foster, Fiona Frederick, Taylor Freet, Guadalupe Gaetan Roque, Gabriel Gekpo, Daniela Hesto Lenz, Caitlin Gilbert, Griffin Gillis, Selvin Hiron Molina, Hannah Godosky, Ilana Gomez, Jalen Gomez, Fatima Gonzalez Alvarez, Anthony Gonzalez Ruiz, Jaron Greenlee, Mikhail Griffin, Nathan Grimm, Mariani Grundy, Patrick Guzzo, Caleb Haig, Samantha Hadlock, Isla Hadzalich, Paul Tomwi Hay, Sarah Han Dinovich, Trinessa Hant, Andrew Hansen, Michaela Hansen, Zachary Harper, Armani Harrington, James Hartley III, Tommy Hayden, Madeline Heineman, Dylan Heiselman, Chelsea Haynos, Jacqueline Hernandez Rivera, Petra Hernandez, Emmy Hewitt, Emma Hickman, Jackson Hicks, Suwei Nin, Amra Hodzich, Sophie Holloman, Thatcher Hollis, Keenan Hoosman, Shavian Hopper, Sienna Hoskins, Aaliyah Hudson, Rosia Hutzel Ahatu, Adrina Husanovic, Alexis Mbuntong, Ayala Jackson, Riley Jacoby, Hope Jacobs, J.D. Jacobson, Jeff Jedrick, Ethan Jensen, Alexander Jones, Elizabeth Johnson, Isaiah Johnson, Noah Johnson, Elisha Jones, Maxwell Jones, Manuela Josipovich, Emily Jewell, Aaron Kaisha, Adian Katazovich, Erna Katazovich, Renard Katazovic, Vinay Kanku Mukandi, Daveen Kayuemba, Mitchell Kaiser. Jaden Keller. Josiah Keller. Seth Kelly. Princelia Keaban Zawoko. Ryan King. Brooklyn Kincaid. Olivia Kirschman.
Savannah Knievel.
Nicholas Knight. Avery Kroll. Riley Joe Crum. Anna Kudich. Adina Kaduzovich. Dylan Kugler. Armin Kuhulovich. Sadie Kurtz. Mondre Legao. Dennis Legumsik. Mason Lamb. Samantha Landis. Eddie Lanier Jr. Say Lar. Allie Lotrick. Hannah Lotich. Malachi Lee.
Caden Lenskow. Ryan Leestu. Zachary Litzkow. Daniela Lopez. Jose Lopez. Jennifer Lopez Marcelino. Dayton Love. Stella Lawin. Jaden Lyons. Kyler Lyons. Alyssa McGee. Skylar Magruder. Laura Malachek. Musa Mahanase. Alexander Maring. Kemal Mashinovich. Carter Mask. Marcella Matumo-Ros. Salome Macha Variane. Annie Mbui. Madison McCarville. Nicole McDowell. Michael McDaniel. Jonah McFarland. Sierra McFarland. Sydney Meeks. Carr May. Lucas Metcalf. Mihaela Miladenoska. Andrea Miller. Austin Miller. Carly Miller. Skylar Miller. Joseph Mills. Isaiah Minicus, Kalina Minkler, Rotina Miangongo, Lemo, Spencer Mokel, Caesar Monroe, Xavier Morales, Savion Moss Scott, Ayla Muhalic, Adalisa Muyagic, Neona Murphy, Mi Na, Anel Nadarivich, Abigail Nathi, Alexis Nebel, Logan Nelson, Montroy Newman, John Negayan, Jessica Nielsen, Evan Nim, Me No, Xavier Norman, Vasilia Nuvakovic, Ashley Nystrom, Ruat Nyack, Alicia O'Banion, Chi Oberly, Belma Odobasic, Caleb Osterling, Melissa Ugrich, Jaden Ort, Stephanie Olivos, Brianne Olson, Analia Osimich, Brent Osley, Haley Ott, Sydney Parkhurst, Philomena Pachari, Emily Pauley, Maxwell Paxton, Nautica Payton, Johanna Pedro Pascual, Simon Pedro, Anita Perkins, Saria Purnell, Caden Peveril, Hugh Pham, Horace Placo, Riley Platt, Arielis Polk, Dara Pompilus, Alyssa Pond, Desnet Porchich, Malik Prince, Michelle Quintanilla, Oceana Ramirez, Randy Ramirez, Aaron Rankin, Stephanie Roscoe, James Ree, Say Ray. Kenan Rekich. William Richardson. Taylor Richter. Elena Ritter. Riley Rivera. Adnan Rezvanovich. Tamia Robinson. Enrique Rodriguez Avila. Imashe Ross. Austin Rubenaker. Briella Rubino Lyons. Adela Ruroden. Eleonora Ruza. Stella Shabanagich. Adis Shabich. Layla Shabich. Majduleen Shabri. Ashanti Salas. Rochelle Salma. Jose Sanchez Romero. Anthony Sandoval. Heather Sands. Amber Sassy. Allison Schaefer. Wyatt Shingothi. Andrew Schoonover. Caitlin Scriber. Cami Ann Schutte. Nija Scott. Natalie Seaman. Polo Say. Mackenzie Sheeran. Marcus Simon. Tyler Slater. Riley Sloyer. Corelli Smith Jr. Cortez Smith. Jordan Smith. Sandra Smith. Brianna Stapella. Claire Steffens. Mason Stevens. Nicholas Stevens. Derek Stewart. Bani Tamba. Grace Tamba. Merve Tamba. Raul Tapio, Jr. Lucomo Taquila Remze. Ivan Tauber. Kobe Taylor. Joshua Taylor. Cherie Taylor. Esther Tay. Fernando Tellez Romero. Cho Than. Danea Kais. Tong Tial. Austin T. Scotter. Kylie Timmer. George Chabring, Isaac Tolbert, Brooke Tompkins, Mason Tomlinson, Daniela Torres, Sandra Torres, Nadia Toski, Braden Trevi, Malcolm Traster, Tamar Sitlaji, Andrew Turner, Nicole Turner, Jacqueline Tyler, Michaela Van Dyke, Maya Van Aram, Grace Vandersea, Gloria Vargas Perez, Alexandra Villalobos, DeQuavian Walker, Tamari Walker, Rebecca Walser, Jaquasia Wells, Jasmine Whitaker, Blaine Williams, Janea Williams, Tajanique Williams, Tajera Williams, Ayana Wilson, Kadavi Wilson, Marquise Wilson, Tan Ween, Maya Winkle, Jonathan Lyon, Jonathan Wolf, Tegan Wolf, Jaden Wood, Reese Wooden, Olivia Worthley, Ma Oo, Isaac Yoder, Oliver Yoder, Alicia Young, Abigail Zeitz, Haley Zakuda.
By the power vested in me by the Waterloo Schools Board of Education and the state of Iowa, I hereby accept Mr. Meehe's recommendation and confer upon you a high school diploma with all the rights, privileges, and obligations. Members of West High School Class of 2020, welcome to the community of high school graduates.
Congratulations, Waterloo West High School Class of 2020. We are now at the portion of the program where I would invite you to move your tassels from your right to your left and give yourselves a round of applause. Go Wahawks! We love you, Class of 2020. Be well.
On behalf of Waterloo Schools and the entire community, congratulations to the West High Class of 2020. We are proud of you.